This is a production of PBS Charlotte.
Just ahead on Carolina Impact, kids in video games can lead to great careers. We'll show you how. Plus, how a Charlotte woman channels her creativity to showcase the lives of African Americans through her quilting. And we take a look at a nonprofit dedicated to helping other nonprofits thrive. Carolina Impact starts right now. Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Amy Burkett. Computer screens used to spark concern. Now, sometimes they spark opportunity. The next generation isn't just playing games, they're creating them. Not only interacting with technology, but shaping it through coding, artificial intelligence, and game development. Carolina Impact's Chris Clark explores how the future is being written one line of code at a time.
Once upon a time, it was a familiar refrain. You're wasting your time playing video games. Parents, teachers, and adults everywhere bemoan the hours kids spent hunched over screens, battling monsters, or racing through virtual worlds. Little did they know, those same screens would redefine how we learn, create, and work.
The youngest age, they're playful, they want to have fun. So our programs inculcate that in the curriculum.
Founded in 2014, Thinking Feet is an online after-school program where kids ages 6 to 18 immerse themselves in pixelated worlds of play. Through gaming, they unravel the mysteries of artificial intelligence and coding, transforming what feels like an adventure into real learning. They don't just play, they're guided step by step in creating their own games.
At the very early stages, like let's say first grade, we teach what we call block coding. So essentially think of Lego pieces that you bring together to make things happen.
Once I kind of got the hang of block coding, I could make something, and that's always been the cool part of coding for me.
It's fun because you can do whatever you want, and you can make whatever you want.
To achieve these extraordinary results, where young minds aren't just grasping concepts, but building things that would often leave adults scratching their heads, they had to rethink the traditional learning model.
We are not so much about teaching based on repetition, that you do the same thing for 50 times and then you get it. It's like dance, right? So when somebody learns dance, the usual approach is they practice and practice and practice until they perfect that. Our approach is to do teach them more of a choreography. So they become choreographers, they think ahead that, okay, how is this step going to follow that step? What are the problems that might come in? So we develop them more as thinkers.
With classes capped at just 10 students, Thinking Feet fosters a close-knit environment where collaboration thrives. Here, kids are encouraged to help one another and push themselves to go as fast and as far as their curiosity takes them. The results speak for themselves.
I went into Unity and created just a little game where you had to swat a bunch of mosquitoes away from you. It sounds really weird, but it was full 3D. It was actually really cool.
I created a model that can identify sea animals.
Fast forward that to high school students, and they're writing code to predict house prices based on neighborhood, based on macro trends, based on house characteristics.
For these young learners, mastering coding and creating apps is just the start. The future's wide open, with opportunities like the Associate's degree in Artificial Intelligence now offered at Central Piedmont Community College. Just the second community college in North Carolina to offer the degree, it's a chance for anyone eager to build the skills that will shape tomorrow's innovations.
IT is in almost everything you're going to do, right? So whether it's the smartphone that you carry around in your pocket, whether it's your desktop or laptop, IT is more and more a tool that most of us use in our day-to-day lives.
The curriculum spans everything from machine learning and chatbots to generative AI and system design. It covers essential skills in AI programming and its applications across industries. This cutting-edge focus is fueling another Central Piedmont Community College program as well.
There's a vast demand right now for cybersecurity analysts, and that's because of artificial intelligence. Right, because AI can make a threat that much more expedited as it propagates through a network.
Companies are more than eager to hire those with a strong foundation in AI, coding, and cybersecurity, knowing full well these skills are crucial in today's fast-evolving digital world. Some of them get jobs before even finishing the curriculum.
We're actually seeing a lot of our students getting hired out of the classroom depending on what skill sets they have, and then coming back here and finishing based on what their entry point is.
Some of our students have done internships with software companies when they were in 11th grade. She did the internship and they asked her, hey, could you continue working for us after your school opens?
While these AI programs put students ahead of the curve, there's something even bigger on the horizon. Just don't tell the machines about Skynet.
I'm a friend of Sierra Connor.
Skynet, yeah, so that's probably going to depend on, and I'm not saying Skynet's going to happen, but there's another emerging technology that I've got my eye on right now. As buzzy as artificial intelligence is, I'm also starting to look at quantum computing.
Really, this all just comes down to speed. Think of this gallon jug of water here as today's fastest computer, and the liquid inside has the problem or the information that we're trying to get out of it. It gets through it pretty fast. Now, in comparison, a quantum computer is more like this 5-gallon bucket. Same amount of information, way less time.
There is a quantum computer now that is starting to solve equations that a supercomputer, a classical digital supercomputer, it would take it 47 years to solve. A quantum computer has done it within a matter of minutes. So that's the next revolution of technology.
That's still a few years away, but one thing's for certain, change is the only constant in life. In the meantime, these kids are honing the skills that will give them a clear edge.
The world is driven by code now, and just knowing that I can code and it affects every aspect of a career that I would have, knowing that I can code is a massive advantage.
Whether they pursue tech or any other field, these skills will be invaluable. The future is theirs, and as the Terminator might say,
I'll be back.
But they'll already be running the show. For Carolina Impact, I'm Chris Clark.
Thank you, Chris. Just as it sits on the leading edge of AI study, Central Piedmont plans to be on the leading edge of quantum computing too. Also, the Thinking Feet program offers a ton more than just coding and AI. It has courses in language arts, public speaking, and SAT and ACT prep. Well, as we continue to honor Black History Month, we go inside the home workshop of a local quilter who takes her love for creating with fabric and merges it with her admiration for African American culture. Carolina Impact's Dara Khalid and videographer John Branscombe have the details.
To her, it's rhythmic, almost like breathing. In and out of the fabric, she weaves her needle in yellow thread, one color out of the 100 different options she has in her stash.
I do get lost in the process. I really do enjoy it. I find it very relaxing.
Stitch by stitch, quilting transports 73-year-old Linda Keene to a place of peace, even losing track of time.
You know, sometimes I will go upstairs and I might be up there working for 7 or 8 hours.
On average, one quilt takes a couple yards of cotton fabric and a month to finish. But these aren't bed quilts. They're called art quilts, which means they're made to be framed. And each has a different story to tell. Some capture Sunday morning moments with choir members dressed in purple robes on their way to church. Some celebrate life accomplishments like graduating from college. And others pay homage to past musicians.
I tend to do scenes that are fun or nostalgic or warm. I don't do anything that makes me feel sad. There's enough that's really sad and horrible out in the world. I don't need to have that as my creative product.
What you'll also notice about the pieces, in addition to the various textures and vibrant colors, is they showcase the lives of African Americans.
I love the fact that it reflects our heritage and shows who we really are in so many different facets.
As the thread connects each bit of fabric, Linda connects to the spirit of her grandmother, the one who taught her how to quilt.
I always remember her hands were always busy. She'd be cutting squares of cloth up, or she'd be sewing them together by hand. And it was just that idea that you are never idle that was something that I always thought was very meaningful.
And this tradition goes beyond Linda's family. According to historians, during slavery, African American women would quilt on plantations, a skill that survived generations.
In our family, we had a lot of quilts that they made. They were useful quilts. They weren't art quilts. They were, bed coverings, but it was something to do that was very practical, and it was also beautiful at the same time. I didn't appreciate it at the time as an art form.
If you were to ask the native New Yorker fresh out of Boston University in 1973 if quilting would be her path right now, she would have told you no.
I didn't even know of any African American artists until I went to college. Never occurred to me that it was something that I would do as anything more than a hobby.
But in 2017, after decades of working in the corporate world, the retiree decided it was time to do something that gave her a sense of fulfillment again, without having to be in the office.
It's just been a joy seeing her finding something else that really keeps her focused, and things that she can do to, to keep her embedded in the, in the community.
As they flip through the scrapbook that holds pictures of their life together over the past 50 years, it reminds Robert of why he fell in love with the young, ambitious Linda all those years ago at Boston University.
I think I knew she was the one the first time I met her, because there was just something, about her, the way she carried herself. She was really, I think, in the back of my mind, the kind of woman that I really wanted to, spend the rest of my life with.
Aside from the love they share for one another, they have a shared love for art. Throughout their home, you'll find masterpieces they've been collecting since the 90s on every single wall.
So Linda, I know that this piece has a lot of significance and meaning to you and your husband. Why is that?
Well, the piece is called Going to Church, and it's by an artist named William Tolliver. And he was the first artist black artist whose work we collected. And we just loved the subject matter, and we also loved the scene.
We stop them? All right.
When the Keens are admiring art, they like to have a little fun playing cards and catching up with some of their old college friends.
I was really happy to celebrate with Linda the art interest that she's pursued and the wonderful exposure that she's gotten here in the Southeast. We're really excited to see her success.
And in the midst of Linda sewing Black history together for others,
spent many days sitting outside in the freezing cold watching him play football. And now I have a grandson, my oldest grandson, who's a big-time basketball player, so it's all an echo of those times. So
she finds new ways to cherish the history being made within her own family. For Carolina Impact, I'm Dara Khalid.
Thank you, Dara. Even after all these years of quilting, Linda still pricks her fingers from time to time, but says it's nothing a good manicure can't fix. If you're interested in one of her quilts, the average price is around $50. Do you remember taking art classes when you were in high school? From drawing and painting to photography. But what if you could have taken filmmaking, music production, or animation? I know I would have loved all those options. Videographer Max Arnold reveals how a Charlotte nonprofit has been making local high school art lovers' dreams a reality.
It's all about arts education. They can take anything from film to photography to graphic design to screen printing, mixed media, music production. In 2012, Studio 345 was started by the Arts and Science Council. It's a free program for high school students that live in Charlotte-Mecklenburg. We serve about 22 different high schools. And so in 2020, we became a program of Arts Plus.
So Arts Plus is a 55-year plus. I mean, it was founded in 1969 out of First Presbyterian Church in Uptown Charlotte. It was its own nonprofit from the beginning, so it wasn't a church program. And so they partnered with Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools, and from 200 applications, chose 20 students. And it grew from 4 instructors and 20 students in 1969 to we contract with over 70 artists and serve close to 5,000 students in the community.
All the faculty that work with the studio are professional artists. They're great with the students. They have a passion for sharing what they know. So they understand, like, I love photography, I'm a photographer, and I want to share this passion with the students. It also gives the students an option to see what a career is like in film or photography or digital art. And a lot of students come here and they're like, I never knew.
I finished studio in 2019, which is when I graduated. And then I went to college, and when I graduated from that, I returned as a teacher. At first, I was very nervous because it was so new, but being here in studio taught me that I really like teaching. I just learned that I love seeing them have those aha moments and getting to help them and teach them the little tricks that I learned when I was their age.
The film class, traditionally, they start from the very beginning of learning how to build characters, make their own storyline, film it, edit, act, all of it. They, right now, just finished writing all their scripts and they're filming their short films. The film class tends to make a lot of horror-based movies, so I think they kind of reflect on things that they like to watch. So we try to pull as much as we can out of telling stories that have a well-rounded plot to it.
I arrived to the U.S. in December last year. They come to our school and present the program to us. I run to sign up because my dream is to become an actress, and I thought that this would be a pretty helpful experience to help me introduce into that world.
It's so amazing to see someone develop their creative passion in front of you. You get to see it, you get to see the joy. You teach them something and they go, oh, I can do that, and I get to control that.
Not everyone is an arts person, but I feel that art actually shapes our way of seeing the world and thinking.
Biggest part that I love about this environment is that it's just so friendly and we have such a community. That's what I liked about it when I was in studio.
A family, it's not just another class. It gets you out of the routine and gets you to think more and be more aware about everything.
Thank you so much, Max. So what's next for Arts Plus and Studio 345? Well, in a full circle moment, the organization founded by a Presbyterian minister will be moving to Plaza Presbyterian Church, where Studio 345 will have its own floor, over 70,000 square feet. Well, closing out tonight, we hear so much negativity in the news these days, from local crime to the nonstop mudslinging in Washington, D.C. politics. But if you look beyond the daily breaking news headlines, you'll find a lot of people working to make their community a better place. Carolina Impact's Jason Terzes joins us with the story.
Well, it's estimated that the United States has just under 2 million nonprofit organizations, including 1.5 million tax-exempt organizations. And over the last 20 years or so, the total number of nonprofits has grown at a steady rate of about 1.4% annually. North Carolina has an estimated 50,000 nonprofits, South Carolina 34,000. But how about a nonprofit that's main mission is to help other nonprofits?
COA stands for cost of attendance minus grants, and SAI equals balance. So we're looking at direct costs, so tuition, fees, room, meal plan, board.
Janae Aiken teaches her students all about the college application process and all that's involved when it comes to paying for higher education.
Student aid funds typically do not have to be repaid, like a grant or a scholarship. Like, you don't have to pay that back. Do we understand? Grants, scholarships, you do not have to pay back. What is something that we do have to pay back? Student loans. Right, student loans.
But this class isn't taking place at a school. It's at the Carolina Youth Coalition, where Janae serves as the Associate Director of College Access.
Student loans, we want that to be like the last case scenario for all of you. Absolute last option.
So who and what exactly is the Carolina Youth Coalition?
We're a college access and persistence organization, meaning we work with high-achieving, under-resourced students to help get them to and through college, and we do that by alleviating academic, social, and financial barriers to higher education, and then we also stick with them while they're in college to ensure that they successfully transition to college and leave with strong prospects for the workforce or graduate studies.
The next one that I want you guys to write down is indirect costs. All right, so that's personal expenses, books, supplies, transportation.
The nonprofit Youth Coalition is now in its 7th year, launching in 2018. For them, it's all about upward mobility.
The community's been very welcoming, and I think because we have a mission that really aligns with what the community finds important and prioritizes, we've gotten a lot of support.
It's that support from community partners like Accenture, a global technology and consulting firm, and Apparo that are helping the Carolina Youth Coalition thrive.
Apparo is a nonprofit that serves other nonprofits, and we do that by engaging the skilled volunteers of area corporations to come in a facilitated manner and bring their skills to elevate the ability of nonprofits to serve more effectively in their business processes and in their technology.
Improving the communities where we work and live is a priority for Accenture. And we've got a special commitment towards improving economic mobility. And obviously there's opportunity in Charlotte, a need in Charlotte.
Apparo and Accenture have been teaming up for years, working on a project together called Mission Possible. It was designed to help area nonprofits create a tech-based solution to maximize workflow and help solve their most pressing challenges.
Mission Possible is a program that's been going on in partnership with Accenture for 17 years now, and it is aimed at improving economic mobility by giving a technology innovation to nonprofits who are working to help those in our community who are economically disadvantaged.
One of the things that we find, and one of the things I experience personally, is that the opportunity to work alongside of the nonprofits here in Charlotte and just help them leverage technology to deepen or broaden their mission is a really fulfilling experience.
Each nonprofit entering the Mission Possible competition gets 15 hours of free consulting services, with the winning organization getting a lot more.
The winner of the Mission Possible Award receives a $10,000 check to implement their project, as well as $50,000 of value of Accenture time to execute the project.
We fund the program and we come alongside the nonprofit to implement the technology idea to improve, to allow them to deepen or broaden their mission and their impact in the local community.
A committee votes for the winner, with the Carolina Youth Coalition winning the competition in 2021, which allowed the organization to train mentoring volunteers to work with high school students.
There's a committee of CIOs, community CIOs, who gather and read the applications and make a final decision on who will be the winner.
Our idea that we submitted was to identify a learning management system that would allow us to train more volunteers online and asynchronously. This was during COVID, so we weren't in person there, so we needed a technology solution where we could still prepare our mentors to work with our young people and to do, frankly, more of it. We have a number of staff, but we have hundreds of students, and so without those volunteers, we're not able to provide that one-on-one support that our fellows, as we call them, need throughout the college application process.
In the 4 years since winning the competition, the CYC has teamed up with Apparo on other projects.
I think we've done, 5 different projects with Apparo in some different capacity, whether it's laptops, whether it's helping us with our Wi-Fi security, identifying a CRM system. So we love Apparo. They're a great partner for us and have played a critical role in helping us expand and scale our program.
Who can tell me what the term interest means? Like what happens like when you're paying interest? Yeah.
The impact of the Carolina Youth Coalition can't be overstated. Last year, 92% of its fellows were first-generation college students, earning nearly $18 million in scholarship money and grants, with 75% of its seniors attending college debt-free.
We've grown from 40 fellows in 2018 to this year we have 320 high school fellows, and so with that growth comes a lot more volunteers and mentors and the need to be able to train them efficiently.
I have to ask Jason the question that everybody wants to know. How much longer until the deadline for those nonprofits to enter the contest?
It's coming up pretty quick here. So deadline for entry is coming up on Friday, March 7th at midnight. But registration, though, is limited to the first 20 applications. They used to get a lot more, and they finally said we have to cap it at 20. And so once they reach that number, registration will close. We do have a link to the application on our website at WTVI.org. And one other quick little note. They plan on announcing the winner sometime this summer. So once they get all the applications, they have to go everything, they have to get the committee together, and then sometime this summer, I think June, July, they'll announce the winner for this year.
Thank you so much, Jason. Well, we are wishing everyone in the contest the very best of luck. Well, that's all the time we have this evening. Thanks so much for joining us. We always appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you back here again next time. But before I say goodnight, I want to say thank you to the amazing students from Audrey Kell High School who came to pay us a visit and watch us record this evening's program. They were awesome. Well, now it's time to say good night, my friends.
This is a production of PBS Charlotte.